Stop using tampons. At the end of this video, you will be convinced, I promise you. My name is Joss, I'm a yoga therapist. I specialize in women's health and wellness using somatic, holistic practices. Before we dive in, please subscribe and also join the newsletter, because it's one thing to learn, to read this stuff, to watch this stuff, but it's another thing to take action. So when you subscribe, when you join the newsletter, you get the practices so you can actually do the work. It's not work, it's fun, but lots of meditations, somatic practices, breath work that help you find a deeper connection to your feminine energy and your body. Stop using tampons. I know that's quite a demand, but in this video, I'm going to share with you, number one, the research. If you're a research girly, I'm going to share with you some of the studies behind the harm of tampons and pads. And I'm also going to share from a yoga therapist approach and perspective why you want to stop using tampons, pads, even cups. I know, just stay with me, okay? I'm sharing this from my heart, from my womb, and I share it from experience, from my own personal journey, and also from women that I work with from around the world. True or false? What you put inside your body matters. It matters. Now, for some reason, when it comes to men, if you're heterosexual, and period menstrual hygiene products, we seem to just sort of let it slide. Why is that? You know, in this day and age, we are so concerned with the food we eat, with, you know, our wellness, going to the gym. But then when it comes to this stuff, we seem to just kind of turn a blind eye. Now, I really believe that this is because when it comes to womb health, it's just not spoken about. It's just not a part of our society. It is a patriarchal, masculine world. It is a man's world. And when we talk about this stuff, you really have to shout to get it heard. Even somewhere as safe as the doctor. You know, you go in for a period health issue, for fertility, maybe for sexuality, and you're not really given the support that you're hoping for or the compassion. So that is where yoga therapy and somatic healing comes in for your pelvic health, for your womb health. Okay, I promise that I'm going to start with the research, with the studies, and here we go. What are the ingredients inside your tampons if you use tampons, or in pads? I bet if you're watching this right now, you might go, I don't know, but I'm sure it's safe because they wouldn't sell it if it wasn't. And that's where the problem is. I'm gonna start with one study. Now, this is from Philip Tiarno. I hope I'm saying his name right, but he's a professor of microbiology and pathology at New York University. That sounds pretty reputable, so let's go into that. Here's a quote from him. Get ready. The amount of dioxin in tampons is low today in comparison to when manufacturers used different bleaching methods, but it's still present, and its effect is cumulative. Okay, so what that means is, like, okay, sure, the dioxin is less, but it's not about the amount, it's about how much you put in your body over time. And you know what? You can bleed for up to 40 years. That's a lot of dioxin. A lifetime of tampons can increase your risk of disease. I see studies that say don't eat tomatoes because they cause cancer, and people are in a fuss. I'm not going to eat tomatoes anymore. I need to protect my health. But then when it comes to tampons, we're like, oh, it's fine. It's kind of serious. Do you agree? Comment, let me know what you feel. I know this is a little bit of a heavy topic, up for debate, so comment and let me know what you think. If you're in America, there are tens of millions of people who are using tampons. And unfortunately, there is not a lot of scientific research behind this when it comes to the manufacturing or the improvement of these products. Not a lot of money is put into caring for this aspect of women's health. It's not a shock though, is it? A lot of experts are saying, well, why don't we have an ingredient label on tampons? I mean, that seems fair enough, doesn't it? But here's the thing, tampons are considered medical devices. It's like a loophole, therefore you don't have to put an ingredient list on them. This is all decided by the FDA, of course. Are you in a different country? Comment below and let me know what it's like in your country. It might be similar, it might be totally different, and we can share our knowledge. If you are out there and you are someone who wants to avoid certain chemicals, certain ingredients, the allergens that are linked to cancer, for example, you can't do this with period products because there is no ingredient label. What are the chemicals? I listed one, but there's much, much more. I'm just like at the tip of the iceberg right now. Okay, Women's Voices Organization. I'll put the link to them below if you want to check it out. They commissioned an analysis of compounds that were found in different tampons, okay? So I'm not relating just to one brand, many different tampon brands. They went throughout New York and checked it all out. When I say that, I mean they got organic, they got mainstream, the dollar store brand. Went anywhere and everywhere. Do you want to know what they found? Brace yourself. It's not fun, it's not nice. Okay, so they found carbon disulfide in 4 tampon brands that had the ingredient rayon. Okay, so when the tampon had rayon, that also was found to have carbon disulfide. This is a known reproductive toxin. Use it in the making of rayon. This hurts my womb. Really, it hurts my womb when I even think about this. Because I used to use tampons, I just assumed that they were no problem. No, it wasn't detected in all the cotton tampons. I'm not saying every single tampon, but that doesn't mean that there's not concerning ingredients in those tampons as well. Would you like to hear another reproductive toxin they found? They found toluene. What the fuck is that? I know, I don't know. Why would we want to know what these things are? Why should we have to know what these things are? But we do. Exposure to toluene, I hope I'm saying it right. I don't even want to know how to say this word because I don't want it in my life. It is harmful and it can lead to several health issues. Nausea, dizziness, skin problems, difficulty breathing, burning sensation in the eyes, nervous system damage. They also found xylene. Another exciting one. Prolonged or repeated contact can cause a skin rash, dryness, redness. I don't know. I think if you can't pronounce the name, I don't want it in my body, especially in my sacred temple, my womb. I'm not done. There's more. But wait, there's more. Comment if you know what that reference is from. Millennials. I also found a carcinogen, methylene chloride. Ugh. Methylene chloride. This is most commonly found in paint stripper. Exposure to this can cause dizziness, drowsiness, numbness, tingling limbs, and nausea. Excellent. It may also cause cancer, and it's in your tampons. The craziest thing about this, when I read out these chemicals, is that none of this is disclosed by the manufacturers. They don't have to. Yes, they do list the basic components, but you'll find this and start to look, it might say things like may contain rayon, may contain cotton. It's not really conclusive. Again, periods can last for up to 40 years. It's important to know what you're putting in your body. It's important to know what these chemicals are. It's important to know all the ingredients. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you a few more chemicals. Don't worry, I'm gonna end this video on a high note. Previous testing of tampons and menstrual pads have found a pesticide residue. I'm gonna say this name wrong, okay? Paraben phthalates. It's linked to hormone disruption. Also, the antibacterial chemical triclosan. Also, sorry, just a few more. Styrene and chloroform. Why are we talking about this more? I've just given you some studies, some research, and of course below this video will be the blog which has links to sources, okay? So I know, don't come for me that I'm just making this stuff up. Everything that I share, I'll provide the links and you can look into it. Let's get into the spirituality, because now I've given you the sort of factual information of why you might not want to put tampons and pads up your vagina. But let's get into, from a spiritual yoga therapist perspective, why you also don't want to put products up your body during your bleed. The way that we treat menstruation is not so good. And this happens from a young age where we really feel guilt, shame, embarrassment about our periods. Think about, a common memory is being in school and starting to bleed and needing a tampon and you're whispering, stuff like that really builds up. For me, I remember when I first started bleeding, I just really was annoyed. I was like, fuck. Oh no. And of course, this isn't everyone's experience, but overall, there is this feeling of shame, guilt, and fear. And where do you think those feelings go? They go in the womb. Our body holds emotions, feelings, sensations, and this is no different for your womb. This is a part of your body, a part of you. So the way that we speak about menstruation really needs to change because it's affecting how we treat our periods, the products that we use, how the doctors treat it as well. And that's why we're here in this state of like, yeah, no worries, you know, your tampons have carcinogens, it's okay. So if you are a girly who is really into spirituality and yoga, you might know about the movement of energy. There are all these different beautiful movements of energy in your body, from, you know, expressing outwards to downwards movement to drawing in. And we sort of access this energy at different phases of our life, different periods. And sometimes we can be stuck in one movement of energy more than the other. You might have noticed this when you feel a bit stuck or blocked. Sometimes you need to feel energy coming in because you're sort of rigid. So when it comes to your period during this phase when you're bleeding, your body is really in a state of downward movement, of downward flow. It's such a beautiful feeling. You might notice during your period that you're like releasing, you're letting go, you know, your emotions are high, even, you know, especially before your period. And you have a choice to really go with the flow, literally, go with that movement, or to avoid or suppress. And we do avoiding and suppressing in many different kinds of ways. We don't talk about our period, we resist it. You know, we have a big ski holiday or summer holiday planned, and we're on our first bleed day and we're like, fuck it, I'm going out. And then at the end of the day, your body's in pain. Also with products, you go against that downward flow of movement by putting something up there. I don't know how I did that, but you know, a tampon or a cup. So if you're someone who's like, you know what, I want to get into womb healing, I want to get into like natural remedies for my period, spiritually, emotionally, this is what I could recommend to you. Stop putting stuff up you when your body is in that state of downward flow. Align with the flow by using something like period panties. This is going to help you embrace that energy instead of work against it. Because whatever you resist persists. And when you resist that downward flow, that release, it gets bigger and it gets louder. And from a yoga therapy perspective, this is when we also get womb health challenges like painful period cramps, irregularity, heavy bleeding, and more. It can get bigger and louder. It can be fibroids, it can be cysts, PCOS, endo. So take from that what you will. I know we're going to have varying opinions on this, and I have to stand firm in my belief because doctors aren't going to, medical professionals they're just not compassionate enough about the feminine experiences and about menstruation. And so if you are watching this and you're like, maybe I will try that, or you're thinking like, fuck yeah, I am ready to take control of my period health, I say this from my heart. It really can get better. And I'm someone who absolutely used to hate my period. I used to have cramps that were so bad I was throwing up. I was on the floor crying. I used to take Depo-Provera like permanently, so I didn't even get my period because it was that bad. And I just decided one day to totally heal from that experience, to stop taking pain pills, stop taking birth control, and to naturally fall in love with my womb so I could feel better in my body. And it worked. It's not difficult. It really is about changing your mind, changing your perspective on your bleed. So if you're someone who's like, I hate my period, periods suck, oh my God, it's the worst thing ever, change that perspective to this. I'm so sorry you're hurting, you know? Even now, bring your hands to your womb. I am so sorry that you're experiencing this. This is tough. I love you. We're gonna get through this. We're not alone. Other people are experiencing this, and it can get better. Then invite very easy positive habits into your life, because those tiny little habits will ignite the change that you want. Very easy womb meditations to access the physical health of your pelvis, your uterus, and also emotionally and spiritually. guided meditations, womb healing exercises. And I have you covered. I know you're like, where the hell am I gonna find that? Ah, my foot's just fallen asleep, you guys. Ah! It was worth it because I was so excited talking to you. Okay, let me get rid of that. But I've got you covered. I've got you. So below the video, you can get my free guide and it's just gonna inspire you. Also, when you sign up to my newsletter, you get a free downloadable audio meditation. I've got womb healing meditations on my YouTube. You are covered. You can do this. You are not alone. I talk to everyone. If you're watching this, I promise you, like, I want to talk to you. I want to support you. I want to give you tips, guidance, and all that stuff, because I know how it felt in the beginning for me. I was so confused. I was so frustrated. I was like on a loop. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And it was extremely frustrating. Keep going, look under the video and connect with me somehow. Oh, my foot's still asleep. Okay. This is my invitation to you. Stop resisting and blocking in every aspect. Physically, stop using the tampons, the pads, the products that aren't serving you, that might have, you know, harmful ingredients in them. And start going with the flow in every way that you can. Be kind, be soft, be gentle to yourself. Sleep a little bit longer when you're on your first bleed days. Eat more nourishing foods. Align with the feeling of release and flow. Maybe notice some heavy emotions that are coming out and be kind to yourself. It's okay, like, this is my time to just like let it out, to be present with this. And that's it. What are you thinking now versus when you started the video? Are you thinking, I want to explore something else, I want to try natural remedies, or are you like, hell no, I need my tampons? One of the most common responses I get is, I've got a heavy bleed. For that, I can say, I don't want to be like pushing to use a certain product, but I can say that free bleeding and period panties are the best natural product to use, product or method to use while you're bleeding. There's a lot of different period panties out there. Personally, I use Thinks and Nix. I think they're wonderful and they support heavy bleeds as well. So you might be curious to try that out. Another thing I love about the period panties is you can wash them yourself, and it allows you to touch your blood, to get a closer relationship with your blood. Instead of like, you know, again, resisting and blocking, like, ew, gross, get away. It's like, you know, this is a part of me. Bye-bye. This is a part of me, and it's not gross, it's beautiful, it's powerful. That's the mind shift. You deserve to just totally love your body and to access all the power here. This is not a place to store shame or fear or guilt or to feel bad. It's a place to feel abundance and confidence and sensuality, sexuality, love, intimacy, creativity. It really is. Thank you for watching, and I hope to connect. My leg is still